I was reading through the 1908 Chicago Tribune the other day. What, you mean you don't do that in your spare time? Anyway, I came across an interesting question to the editor in a small section of one of the Sunday papers. In what year did the Cubs and White Sox play a tie series 7-7? In 1903. This struck me as odd. I don't know about you, but I had never heard of a 1903 postseason series between the Cubs and the White Sox. Well, as you probably know, there were a ton of postseason series between teams that occupied the same city in the early days of baseball. In fact, Retrosheet came out with a collection of regional postseason series a few years back. This includes complete play-by-play accounts of numerous regional games and really is a lot of fun to look through. But there's a little problem. The list is incomplete. I mean, it's not just like a little bit incomplete, it's way off. That's right. The wording here at the top indicates that this page contains a complete list of the city series. Now, I'm sure that Michael Cantor has done excellent work, especially in reconstructing the play-by-play accounts, but this is not a complete list of these series. It's nowhere near complete, as you'll soon see. Now, we usually think of 1903 as the birth of the World Series. In fact, some people think of that as the beginning of modern baseball. The truth, however, is that there were a total of 5 postseason series in 1903. That's right, 5 series in 1 year. The Cubs played the White Sox, the Pirates played the Red Sox, of course, and then there were also exhibition games involving the Reds, Indians, Phillies, Athletics, Cardinals, and Browns. Okay, now I didn't take the time to go through every single one of these series and every single one of these games. It's going to take quite a bit of time to actually work through those series. It was bad enough dealing with this one. Instead, let's just take a quick look at the one that was the longest and clearly the most memorable, which was the Chicago City series. The Chicago Tribune mentioned that a series like this might be a good idea as far back as 1902. In fact, we know that the Chicago White Stockings challenged the National League team to a postseason series as early as September 1900. The National League team declined, of course. Now, the genesis of this series came in February 1903. It was set up as a best-of-15 series, the first team to win 8. That's right, best-of-15. Not best-of-7 or best-of-9, best-of-15. Now, those of you who love playing really long series with your APA and Strat cards should feel vindicated now. And this was serious stuff. There were large crowds at every single one of these games. You'll never believe what happened either. Now, the National League team had its best season in years, finishing at 82-56 in third place. This was the start of those really good Cubs teams that came in the years ahead. The White Sox, meanwhile, finished a disappointing 7th in 1903. They had dominated the league in 1900 and 1901, and they came close again in 1902, a real disappointment. So on to the series we go. The Cubs, or the Colts, depending on which paper you read, won the first game 11-0. The hitless wonders only managed to get 3 hits in that affair. The Cubs then won the second 5-1, again holding the White Sox to 3 hits. The National League side then won the third game 6-0. The White Sox did improve a little bit, getting 4 hits. So the series stood 3-0 in favor of the National League team. They were probably regretting agreeing to a 15-game series at this point. I mean, they would have been on the verge of clinching it if it had been only 7 games. Well, those White Sox bats finally woke up in Game 4. They won that one in a 10-2 laughter. And Game 5 was a wild one. The White Sox went away with a hard-fought 4-3 10-inning victory in front of 2,000 fans. That narrowed the series to 3-2. But the Cubs then came back to win Game 6 5-2. It was now a 4-2 lead for the Cubs. This is kind of exhausting, isn't it? Well, this is why you don't make 15-game series. It's kind of hard to keep track. Now, by the way, those first 6 games were all played on consecutive days. There were no days off. It rained on October 7th, however, which meant that the 7th game was postponed. Now, this becomes important soon. The White Sox exploded to win Game 8, 9-3, which narrowed the series lead to 4-3. But then the Cubs won a big one. Despite only getting 3 hits, the Cubs were able to win the 9th game 1-0 on an error in the bottom of the 9th. And that gave them a 5-3 series lead that seemed insurmountable. Only 3 more wins to go. The Cubs won the 10th game 4-2. Now their lead was 6-3. But of course, all that baseball adds up over time. The White Sox snuck in a 2-0 win in the 11th game. Game 12 was another White Sox win, this time 4-2. So now it's 6 wins for the Cubs and 5 for the White Sox. Then Game 13 went to the Cubs 5-1, which made them 1 win away from local glory. But then the White Sox pitchers went back to work. They won the 14th game by another 2-0 margin. It was now 7 wins for the Cubs and 6 for the White Sox, with 2 games to play. Actually, with 1 to play. Yeah, that's right. Both teams had their players only under contract through October 15th. Now, the White Sox allegedly wanted to play a doubleheader to end the series. However, the Cubs refused and demanded that only 1 game be played. And so the 15th and final game was played on October 15th. And once again, the White Sox pitching dominated. Nick Altrock held the Cubs to 4 hits, and the White Sox won, yet again, 2-0. Yeah, they couldn't determine a winner here even after 14 games. Now, this series was about as even as it came. The White Sox scored 39 runs, the Cubs scored 36. The Cubs had 105 hits to the White Sox 103 and committed only 24 errors to the White Sox 27. Well, remember, this was 1903. Committing only 2 errors per game was actually pretty good. Frank Owen was the clear pitching hero for the White Sox, winning 3 games and losing 1. Meanwhile, on the Cubs side, 20-game winner Jake Weimer was the star pitcher. He also won 3 games and lost only 1. Well, and there you have it, the City Series that time forgot. But hey, maybe you can determine a winner. Go grab your favorite sim and have at it.